This game was supposed to be Sony's next big live service hit. It launched at $40, and it died in 12 days. Not in a year, not in a month, 12 days from release to shutdown announcement. Full refunds, servers turned off, and the studio was closed. This is the story of Concord, how it became the fastest AAA death in gaming history. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened. How Sony and Fireworks Studios spent 8 years and an estimated $100 million to $200 million on a hero shooter, and how it launched on August 23rd of 24 for $40 on the PS5 and PC, and how it peaked at 697 concurrent players on Steam on launch day, and then it dropped to 131 within days, and the studio behind it, Firewalk Studios, was shut down shortly after. Concord wasn't a rushed indie gamble. It was developed over 8 years by Firewalk Studios, a Washington studio owned by Sony. Development started around 2016, and Sony kept it under wraps for years. In May of 2024, Sony finally announced the game with a CGI trailer. That trailer got widespread criticism. People called it clunky, dated, and overly generic. Then the gameplay reveal, which showed more potential, fast, fun hero shooter mechanics, team-based combat, and a unique sci-fi universe. The game was set in a future where humans and humanoid aliens coexisted, a mega corporation called the Guild controls space travel and agriculture, and a group of mercenaries called the Free Gunners fight back. You play as one of the Free Gunners, and pick from 16 characters at launch, each with their own abilities and playstyles. Everything suggested this was a serious high-budget live service shooter, the kind that could compete with Overwatch, Apex Legends, or Valorant. Here's where things started to go wrong. While other major hero shooters had gone free to play, Concord launched at $40 for the standard edition and $60 for the digital deluxe edition. That's huge! In 2024, the hero shooter market was dominated by free games. Overwatch 2, Apex Legends, Valorant, they were all free. And yet Concord asked players to pay $40 up front with the promise that all future heroes, maps, and modes would be free and not tied to microtransactions. That was an unusual move. Some people appreciated that there were no loot boxes or battle passes, but most players didn't care. They didn't want to pay for a new hero shooter in 2024 when they had already multiple high-quality free options. On top of that, an online-only connection. You couldn't play single player. If the servers were dead, the game was dead, which is exactly what happened. Concord launched on August 23rd of 2024 for PS5 and PC via Steam, Epic Games Store, and PlayStation Store. Early access for digital deluxe owners started on August 20th. The game launched with 6 modes, 12 maps, 16 free gunners, and 8 variants. But the numbers came in and they were catastrophic. On launch day, SteamDB recorded a peak concurrent player count of 697 people. To put that in perspective, that's 70% lower than the game's own open beta, which had peaked at 2,000 players. It's way below even small indie shooters. It's barely more than 700 people playing the entire game at once on PC across the entire world. And by the next day, it dropped to 473 people. By Sunday, it was only at 400 people. And within a few days, it was down to 131 concurrent players. On PlayStation Store, it was only the 37th best-selling title, and by some estimates, sold fewer than 7,000 copies total on PC alone. With most players on console and no clear sales data, this wasn't a slow decline. This was an immediate collapse. Now, why did it fail so hard and so fast? There were several key reasons, and none of them were just the game was bad. In fact, many players who tried it said the core shooter gameplay was fun, polished, and tight. First, pricing. As I said, $40 for a hero shooter in 2024 in a market dominated by free-to-play was a massive mistake. Most players just didn't see the value. Second, timing. Concord launched on the same day as Black Myth Wukong, one of the most anticipated action RPGs of that year, and just a week before, Star Wars Outlaws. So it was sandwiched between 2 massive AAA releases that stole all the attention. Also, Black Myth Wukong is a freaking awesome game. Third, marketing. Despite the big budget, the game had a very low marketing presence. In the weeks leading up to the launch, there were no major streamers, no big push, no viral moment. It felt like Sony sent it out quietly, hoping it would find its own audience. Fourth, identity. The game didn't feel unique enough. It looked like every other hero shooter. It had similar abilities, similar maps, similar modes. There was no clear reason to switch from Overwatch or Apex Legends to Concord. And then fifth, community. The community was already skeptical from the CGI trailer. The game didn't have a strong enough cult following, and when the player count crashed, there was no core fan base to keep it alive. Put all that together, and you get a game that, despite great gunplay, was doomed from launch. On September 3rd of 2024, just 12 days after launch, Sony and Firewalk Studios made the call. Concord game director Ryan Ellis posted an official statement on the PlayStation blog. Let me get in my reading news stuff. Here we go. While many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game with our initial launch didn't land that well as we intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th of 2024 and explore options including those that will be a better reach for our players. Whoa. Sales of Concord were immediately halted on all platforms. A full refund was offered to anyone who bought the game on PS5, PC, or PlayStation Direct. The server stayed live until September 6th of 2024, so players could log in one last time. Then after that, the game was completely unavailable. Then came the aftermath. Firewalk Studios was shut down shortly after. Many talented developers were laid off. Sony reportedly scrapped multiple live service projects after seeing the damage Concord caused to their live service strategy. The development budget was never officially confirmed, but estimates range from $100 million to $200 million, possibly as high as $400 million with marketing and post-launch costs. That's one of the most expensive game failures in history. A year later, Concord is gone. No sequels, no remaster, no we'll try again. Just a case study in how not to launch a live service game. It became the fastest AAA game shut down in gaming history. 12 days from release to cancellation, 6 days from cancellation to server shutdown, and it also sent shockwaves through the industry. After Concord, Sony became much more cautious about their live service projects. They canceled multiple in-development live service games and refocused on single-player experiences. For the players, it was a brief, weird experiment. Some people logged in for a week, had fun, and then it was just gone. Other players never even tried it because they saw how low the player count was and assumed it was already dead. It was the end of the line after 8 years of work. So, was Concord a bad game? No. The core shooting, movement, and team play were polished and fun. Many players who tried it said it felt good to play. But a good shooter wasn't enough in 2024, and I don't even know if it's now. You need the right price, the right timing, the right marketing, and a clear reason for players to switch to your game. Concord had none of that. It was just too expensive, launched at the wrong time, had weak marketing, and felt like just another hero shooter in a crowded market. And that's why it died in 12 days. So the quick recap here. Developed for 8 years by Firewalk Studios. Launched on August 23rd of 2024 for $40 on PS5 and PC. Peaked at only 697 concurrent players on Steam. The shutdown announcement was on September 3rd of 2024, 12 days after release, and then 3 days later was the server shutdown. And then the studio shut down, multiple Sony live service projects were canceled, and that is the story of Concord. Wow. I don't even know what to say. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe. Peace out, guys.